Coke machine for real fishing. Here I am out on Callander Bay. I'm gonna start this outside just so you guys can get a look at what's going on all around me. So I'm at my buddy's hut here. Just gonna do a little tour. Unfortunately to say, there's a lot of slush right around the hut. I guess where people had holes drilled. It's where he had his truck parked. And all around here there's some pretty serious ruts where people have sunk their tires into. Walking out here though, it was quite stable, pretty crispy on the ground or on the snow. Otherwise though, I have no idea how this is going to pan out once the rain comes tomorrow. We got some pretty warm temperatures coming plus rain. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start fishing. Doesn't look like anybody's really watching right now, but didn't really announce it. Okay, got everything set up in here. So set things up. So I was measuring the ice, and there's a lot of sort of slush bunk ice, and then a whole bunch of solid ice underneath that. Corey, how's it going? Welcome to the party. Sorry I didn't announce any of this. I just sort of started playing, but I figured I better get it started. The ice out here has got to be, I'm gonna say, about 15 inches, and there's a lot of bunk ice on top of that. Like I think the total was like 22 inches, including the bunk ice and what I measured. But I'm sure a significant portion of that is definitely just the slush. So there's still a significant amount of good ice. Obviously, it's been pretty cold at night, so that's holding it pretty steady. And then there's definitely some trucks out here still, but there was definitely some pretty deep grooves in the lake out there. Just trying to position this so my beard gets the most amount of illumination. Yeah, definitely there's some trucks out there. There's a few people out. A couple people in the open air. This would be a perfect day for open air fishing. Not much wind. I definitely got my drone out and flew around here. So if anybody was out here and they heard a little buzzing, that was a Coke machine flying around. So I haven't really been fishing yet, aside from right now. I've got a dead bait down over here on a dead stick. It's a salted minnow. All my minnows gave up the ghost, unfortunately, so I'm using salties this morning. But if I come out tomorrow or Thursday, I'll definitely buy myself some new minnows. So it's gonna welcome everybody to the party here. Corey, welcome to the party. Jeff, welcome to the party. Fish on, welcome to the party. David Bennett, thanks for coming. Mark Timlock, so you're heading up with Bear Creek on Friday, eh? Sounds great. I bet you the fish are going to be biting on Friday. Actually, I didn't see what the temperatures are going to be like after Wednesday. I checked that out. It was very warm. So I guess I'm going to set this up with my sheen over there. I'm going to flip it back and forth to get the zoom effect. So I got a rattle bait down there at the moment. Jeff, you say you're going out for the evening bite this afternoon. Are you going to be hitting Callander Bay, or are you going to be hitting Sunset Point again? I think after catching that monster pike you had out there on Sunset that you might want to try that again. Kevin Vieira, the ice is around 15, 16 inches of black, and then a whole lot of bunk ice on top of that. I had to put my spud down the hole there to measure things, and then measure that with a tape measure. So there was about 22 inches And a lot of that was bunk ice, but a lot of it was good black ice. There's definitely still some water coming up through the holes pretty badly. Anywhere where anybody's drilled them, when I was walking out here, I'd have pretty solid slush puddle. And the crazy thing is, those slush puddles just get bigger and bigger. Like, the amount of slushiness they generate from a single hole is pretty extreme. So I'm just going to be fishing for, I don't know, about an hour this morning, and then I'll have to take off, go buy my wife some roses, you know. I don't know if she watches the live stream. I guess I will have given it away, but gotta make sure I save some time for that. So I'm gonna throw on another lure here. Let's see what I'm gonna throw. All right, today I'm going to put down, let's see. Oops. Hey Corey, if you're watching out there, and I think you are, I didn't happen to leave my little tungsten bead in your hut, did I? I had a tiny tungsten jig that I caught some Cisco's out here with last time I was here, but I think I might have left it in your hut. Guess that means I'll have to come back. Okay, I'm gonna throw on a Simcoe bead or bug, because why not? Feel like everything I've been catching things on has been pretty subtle. That pike I caught in the last live stream there, caught on the smallest buckshot they make with a fresh minnow head on it. And you know, that pike was probably 4 or 5 pounds, half decent pike through the ice, nothing crazy though. But he definitely snuck up on that little buckshot rattle spoon, and then basically just kissed it enough for me to hook him. Oh, guys, feel a hit. COD WW2. So Phil's in South Bay. Does he catch anything down there? Colin Ferris, thanks for the good word. Richard Goebel, thanks for the encouragement, buddy. Yeah, I wonder, Corey, if the old split shot hook setup will work with a salted minnow. Probably. I think I've had that work out before. Looks like we got some activity down there. Let's see if they like the Simcoe bug. Some kind of activity. Kevin Vieira. So you're coming up to Fish Bay, February 24th. Is that a Thursday or Friday? See, that's the weekend I'm supposed to be going to Rosso, but I know that's looking a little bleak at the moment. So I'm not sure where I'm going to be when that happens. I don't know if my brother and I want to head up to some Temagami area lakes, or if we want to try something down here. At least we know on Nipissing we got the ice. Yeah, it looks like whatever cloud of fish were coming by, they decide to disappear. If you can hit the like button while you're watching, that Be greatly appreciated. So let's see. You know, there was a time when the Simcoe bug was really panning out for me, and I feel like this year hasn't been it. I think I remember last time people sort of saying dead sticking was working really well. Let's see if I can. That's me rattling my bell there. Just trying to give my salted minnow a little bit of action. I debated putting just a minnow head down there just for the absolute smallest presentation. What? Huh. Weird. Just checking my Simcoe bug here for a second there. Felt like I felt zero weight. I was thinking to myself, maybe it's maybe a fish is grabbed it and shooting up. I'm gonna throw on super tiny, smallest I got. Dinner bell. I wouldn't mind getting into more Cisco's. So this is the dinner bell I got. I've got a bunch of them, obviously, but there we got a little. This one's tiny, green on one side. Let's see how this pans out. I'm just gonna throw it down. Just a little nugget of a Berkeley worm. This would be a power bait. Gonna throw a little touch of that on there. A little bit of flavor out there. Like I said, I don't have live minnows per se today, but if you catch fish on the right day and they're ferocious, definitely go for one of these, particularly perch. Or I think I caught 2 Cisco's last Monday or Tuesday or whenever it was. All right. Let's see if this dinner bell is big enough to show up on my flasher. It should be. It's tiny though. All right, I'm ringing the bell. David Bennett, have you made it up yet this year? I know you were asking me some questions there. Have you got a chance? I'm half debating asking my buddies if we all want to go in for a motel room in North Bay, since we're missing the Rosso trip. If they wanted to stay there and then just go fishing, you know. I used to have all my friends up and they'd all stay at my place, and we'd all party, have a good old time. These days with the kid, you know, that doesn't really work the same way. Kid will be wanting to stay up with all these neat people around. Yeah, Colin Ferris, thanks for the good words. Do you have any vital info that could be useful? So Matt, you said you had a blast on the weekend, made on the ice with trucks from Centennial. I got some good shots of the Centennial parking lot there, and the fan of trails that comes out of there with my drone. Should make for some good viewing. 2 pike on rattle bait, eh? And you gotta love those rattle baits for pike. They love them. 3 walleye on tiny spoons. Well, I got a real tiny spoon on right now. So let's see if that does the trick. Now, I was talking to Danny at Billy Bob's Baits there, and he was telling me that he uses this medium-sized white dinner bell, and he says he hasn't taken it off his rod since last year. So he's got that much faith in it, and that's great. I'm always I probably have about 10 lures that are my go-to lures, and I usually switch between them all. I don't know if I have any, like, as much faith in one single lure to rock it all season. I in the summertime though, here's the funny thing, is that I rock when I'm fishing for eyeballs in the summer, I always rock Berkeley flicker shads in perch color or shad color, and those are the kind of lures where I'll leave them on for a month unless my line gets totally mangled or the lure itself gets, sometimes the hooks get bent up when you catch pike and whatnot. Well, that's the kind of lure, with the exception of jigging. Obviously oftentimes I go out with my ice rod and a jig on it, or any of my ice jigs. But if I'm just trolling around, it's always a flicker shad. I have a lot of faith in those lures. I mean, they're basically a Rapella clone, but I think they're great. And of course, my new absolute favorite lure is the Deep Down Tail Dancer. They make them now. I thought somebody's told me they go down to 40 feet now, but I got one that goes to 35, and I caught my personal best lake trout on that in July, trolling that at 30 over 50 feet of water. So small, good gold spoon with a minnow head, caught your pike and your Cisco, eh? It's funny, those Ciscos, they, sometimes I've had them on my camera where they come in and just look at your stuff, but boy, when they decide they're gonna bite, they really go for it. They hit hard, and then they thrash hard, and as soon as you get them out of the hole, they do a bunch more thrashing. Sorry, I'm just jigging my dead stick over here. Give it a little bit of activity. Good morning there, Bill D. Igor XL. I love those fish icons, buddy. So I don't think I'm going to be changing that just yet. Sorry. When those little goldfish show up, I'm like, yes. I mean, I find them entertaining, but I can understand why you might not want them. Yeah, I wish more people fish for whitefish out here. I know they're out here, but I've only caught one in the entire time I've been up here, but it was in about 40 feet of water. So I imagine maybe some people fishing deeper end up getting into them. But it was that time I caught one. It was I had a spoon. I had a rig that I often use. It's like a spoon with a dropper that goes down to a treble hook, and I had a minnow on that, and the dropper's about 10 inches. And the idea is that the minnow thrashes and the spoon waves around as like an attractor, and then whatever comes and grabs it. It seems to work decently for walleye when you have some nice active minnows and when the fish are on the bite. But that day it did work. It was a jaw jacker. I had it on jaw jacker and the little spoon dropper combo with a live minnow. It's what I caught my whitefish on, and he was big. I have the video. If you go through my old videos there from a couple years back, you'll see whitefish right on the front. And that was the only whitefish I've ever caught on Nipissing, and he was delicious. I definitely cleaned him up, got a lot of meat out of him, and then wished I could catch more whitefish out here. So I know a lot of the whitefish that I see coming out of Simcoe, they all seem to be pretty big, and this guy was definitely along those lines. I don't know if anybody else has fished for whitefish on Temagami, because they have like an extended limit up there. I think, or last I checked, always check your regulations, but last I checked on Temagami, it was like a 25 whitefish limit. So I haven't really done that much fishing of Temagami in the wintertime there. The one time I did make my way up there, it was slushy, horribly slushy. And I can imagine this year it's probably the same. Like slush is just the worst. And this year it's just been terrible all over. Got some fish icons coming in here. Yeah. Let's see. Sorry. I don't really zoom in much on this, so I guess I guess there's no way on. All right. Those are the kind of goldfish I give my son there. He's always just like, goldfish, Dad. Jeff, I'm trying to estimate here. I'm going to say there's going to be at least 20 people at their shacks this morning. I mean, there's so many shacks out here, but there's definitely a guy in a truck. I saw a few people walking out, maybe 20's high. You never know though. It could be more than that. Now that I know I can zoom in at the low cost of depleting the video quality. All right, I'm gonna try. Come on. Not seeing too much action down there. And then it's funny because whatever keeps coming up is a fish icon at around 12 feet there. I'm not sure what that is. It's been consistently there. I probably have the gain up a little high, but it's not, it's at medium. Let's see. I'm gonna try a rattle wrap. Do like the blue. Don't know what you guys, but I remember saying I used to have one of these in red that was did the deed pretty good on perch in the Yellock area. Oh, looks like there's some activity coming in there. I used to have this technique where I would raise my arm, like I'd be out standing in the open air, raise my jig up as high as I possibly could raise it. So I'd be standing up and it would be, I'd probably, with the length of the rod and my own height, could probably get it up to, 8-9 feet. And then I'd just let it drop all the way down and then just let it sit. Like I just rip it really hard up, as hard as I could, and then just let it drop all the way down and then just let it stay completely still. And the perch, they love that. A lot of times when they saw it fall from way up, they were right on it right away. And then it seemed like the perch weren't in that area as much in the last few years I was there, because it used to be pretty wild. And I don't know if it's necessarily something like there were less perch, or just the perch were somewhere else in this massive lake for whatever reasons. I remember cleaning out their stomachs and seeing they're munching on these snails. Lots and lots of snails. And it was always these mud flats, which the North Shore is like, mud flat fiesta, pardon me. Zach Richardson. I usually just put together thumbnails that I've had pre-made, but today I was like, okay, this is an ice hut that is on loan to me by Tyler Driscoll for when he's not here. He says I can use his hut, so I've been using it, and so I'm like, I got to make sure I got his hut in the background. And at first I was just like, smiling, big smile, and then I'm like, okay, let's make it look like I'm looking off in the distance, inspecting the ice. And so I did actually try to make that appearance. Eugene Christen, good morning to you. Let's hope I can see something come in before I got to go home again. Yeah, I'm here at not a most opportune time, but whatever. But it's good to be out on the ice. So Igor, as far as asking, is the ice thickness consistent across the lake? I haven't been out to the islands or anything. I know when the ice was forming, there was a lot of inconsistent stuff. I imagine that things are pretty solid up right now, and you'd probably see lots of snowmobiles and stuff like that everywhere on the lake. And even with the rain coming, like, it's going to make things gummy. Maybe it'll, if we're lucky, it'll sort of beat down the snow a little bit, and then the snow will freeze up solid. I think somebody said it's supposed to be getting cold by the end of the week. But where I've been lately has been Callander Bay here, and it's got definitely some decent ice here. And then Yellock had some decent ice out there as well. It's just the slush is the thing going around here. Ian, welcome to the party. I feel like is there a fish, or is that just my dead stick? Yeah. Oh. Oh. I remember the last time I was out here, it wasn't until 10 something when the Cisco showed up. Let me check again, see if my little. I had a few people that were swearing by having, they swore by split shot, and then one of these octopus style hooks that was chartreuse like this. I don't even think I've tried that yet. It's like their dead stick. So unfortunately at my work there, everybody's getting sick. All my coworkers have gotten sick with some kind of a flu. And my one guy I was supporting last night got himself really sick, and I was trying my best to help him out. And I'm a little bit worried that I'm gonna pick it up, because he was definitely hurling all night long, and that's not something I want to do. I'm usually pretty good with not hurling too much in my life. Every once in a while. I think there's something on the bottom down there. Come on. Definitely some kind of activity. Something came through, decided not to bite, and left. Yeah, I hear you there, Jeff, where you say I'm hoping the rain will take some snow away and get some weight off the ice. It's This slush has just seemed endless. The tough part is we've had some really cold weather and it's still here. It's still here. Just the weight keeps pushing up. The ice isn't quite thick enough to hold it or to prevent the sort of push down effect. I know we're heading towards the end of the season here. Nobody wants to say it, and I don't that those words taste like poison in my mouth, to be honest with you, now that I've said it. But I guess, we're sort of heading in that direction, and I'm hoping the last few weeks are going to be amazing. I'm probably going to fish for some trout when Nipissing closes. I always try to squeeze in a little bit. I mean, a lot of times you can be out on the small trout lakes fishing until, mid late to late April. It gets that solid out there, but you know, and the good thing is getting out there when the weather's nice. I like to take my ideal ice fishing situation is like warm weather where you can sit outside your hut in a lawn chair. That's what I like. Inside the hut's good, but boy, I love sitting on the lake and just watching everything go down. But that's just something you can definitely do a lot of at the end of the season. And after Nipissing closes and you can get to the trout lakes, it's pretty sweet when you can do that. So, Sandman Outdoors, good morning. Our weekend trip to Callander was great fun, but the fishing was pretty dismal. Caught a few, but not what we hoped for. Had an 18-inch Cisco give me a good fight. Well, Cisco are always stepping up to the plate when you need them. They're a neat little fish, that's for sure. Um, I'm sorry to hear the fishing was dismal. Yeah, I keep seeing on the Lake Nipissing ice fishing board there, some people will, most people will be having like an okay day, or like people saying it's super slow. And then there's always one guy who's like, oh yeah, we nailed like 35 of them, stuff like that. And you're just like, but it's like the fish are moving, and probably like during tough weather days, they all stock up in one area, and then some dude out there is sitting on top of them. Ian Patterson, Collingwood Harbor had good ice for a bit, lots of perch and pike. That's sweet. I've always dreamt about fishing some of those areas, like I know Collingwood Harbor and a few of the harbor areas down there get a lot of salmon and whatnot. I think fishing for salmon through the ice would be absolutely, absolutely amazing. But probably the ice down there is more close to shore, right? And I know a lot of those areas haven't seen much ice like they used to. So I feel like there's somebody sitting on the bottom down there that's just not going for it. Ooh. So here's a question for you guys. When I get a text, like I just did, do you guys see the text or do you just see what's on the camera? Adam Craig, you fished all over the place in Cal Bay. How did that pan out for you? Yeah, Ian, I had a chat with another viewer about those sweet, sweet goldfish symbols that come up and how awesome they are. It's funny what things the machine decides are worthy of the little goldfish image, but Tyler, welcome to the party. Thanks for the good word. Thanks for the hut space and time. So Ian, you say the OPG is already starting to raise the level of the lake. Gonna put water pressure under the ice, eh? Those darn OPG guys and their schemes. They know they're screwing up the ice fisherman's game. Okay, let's see what I'm gonna put on now. All right, I'm gonna throw down slab grabber. Okay, so that's good to that's good to know that you guys don't necessarily see my text coming up. The other day, my wife was sending me a bunch of texts during the live stream that had to do with what our vacation plans were for this year. It was, nothing too serious, but I was just like, I wonder if you guys see this or not. Darren, you haven't missed anything, buddy. You missed a whole lot of no fish. Have you been out lately? Andy, thanks for the good words. Thanks for the good luck. Chris Sadler, we're over top of about 15 inches of black ice and then a whole bunch of bunk scum ice. Like the water comes up. The water comes up quite a bit in the hole. And there's definitely a lot of like snowy slush that's frozen up, and then probably a lot of it that's just no good. So Darren, you've got a derby. Where's the derby? Is it here? Yeah, it is, isn't it? I think I heard about that. There's some kind of a derby on Callander Bay. What are the prizes? What do I gotta pay? I'm gonna say $20 entry fee. Guess this lake's gonna be a real Swiss cheese situation, eh? Yeah, there's definitely some decent ice out here, and there's definitely people out on in trucks. They're Chris. This is Callander Bay, by the way. Don't know how much people are driving around in other places of the lake. It's funny because I drive around and see stuff. I know at Sunset Point, the last time I checked it out, it was definitely a lot of people parked on the ice there, and definitely like parked on the ice in the ice parking lot is what I mean, and not necessarily at their huts. So Darren, it's a Friends Derby, Mark Wolf, eh? Is that the same Mark Wolf that I featured in a few ice reports? I bet you it is. Is this one of these derbies where, it's a private derby? There's definitely a fish down there right now. Come on. There's something down there right now. Oh. Oh. There we go. Gotta be a micro perch. Not too bad. Not a monster. Definitely went for my surf for the bells here. Surf for the bells. It's loud. Went for my dead stick coffee minnow. I don't think he's quite big enough to keep though. I mean, he's probably an 8-incher, but all right, down he goes. All right. So maybe that's a sign for what's to come. Yeah, I'm sure those bells ring real loud. Your ears. Sorry about that. They ring in my ears too. I find these perch when sometimes with these salted minnows that I make, they're a good thing to have in your hut when you're sort of out. And a good way to reuse your dead minnows, the ones that die. I'm just putting on a little chunk, and I actually put instant coffee on them for flavor, or garlic. So there's my dead sticking rig there with a spoon. Just gonna drop that straight down. Since it's perch, I'm just putting on a chunk because I know a lot of times that they'll go for a chunk pretty good. Be nice to catch a couple of those. I caught a big one the other day in Yellow there, and I was hoping to catch a whack of them, but then ended up just catching a dink along with it. All right, put this thing up again. It's like I saw the rod twitching before the bell twitched. Oops. Let's see if I can grab another one. So Matt Deck heading this weekend. Where do I recommend to hit the ice? Well, Callander Bay is always a busy spot. It's ever popular. Okay, so that's Sunset Point's super popular. Definitely the areas in the South Shore, like Deepwater Point, seems to be a pretty popular spot. And all these places people catch fish, but don't forget about areas that are less fished. Like I know, like Kinsman Park there, I've probably caught more perch there this year than I've caught anywhere else. And then as well, there's areas all along Lakeshore there where there's relatively easy parking, like at the government dock or the King's Landing dock in North Bay. There's definitely parking, lots of parking there. and you can walk out from there. I mean, a lot of places on the North Shore, you got to walk quite a bit before you get to optimal depths of, like, 15 plus feet. So Chris Sadler, you say you're probably gonna hit Island Lake again, but it's getting sketchy, eh? Yeah, I know. Like I was mentioning the other day, I've got a few game cameras down in the Shelburne Dundalk areas, and I definitely see what the snow conditions are like there, and it looks like things have melted up all over again. Well, I see, Darren, it's a private derby, huh? It's one of those fancy private derbies. Matt, I did adjust some of my settings on my Garmin there to get this particular setup. So I think it's funny because people ask me about this a lot. It's set up in the traditional fish finder, but with the, I'm gonna say, A scope, which is like the line on the side here that is let's see if I can, no, this isn't gonna work. Yeah, this line on the side here is the A scope, and then the other part is the traditional fish finder. And of course, this, if you have this Garmin, you know that it does have like the flasher settings. And I was using that for a while, and then people sort of turned away or recommended away from it. But I forget where it is in the list. It's like once I switch it to this, I've just stuck to it. Yeah, Jeff, as far as using coffee as a flavor, I've tried a few different flavors on my salted minnows, and straight salt, I feel it doesn't work as good as garlic, and then coffee as well can work really well. I know they've made a few plastic baits that were coffee flavored, and they probably had, as I recall, on the packaging a picture of a fish drinking a cup of coffee. I think sometimes it's just sort of an interest thing. I know, like, a lot of times when I'm fishing for carp and stuff like that, it's like you're aiming for corn and strawberry flavors, and if I've tried coffee with them, I should try that next year, this spring. Bill D. The Cisco. Does anyone eat them? I have eaten one. I have maybe eaten two even. And they were delicious fish. But let's just say that I think I've cleaned three of them, and two out of the three had these worms in them that I've never seen in a fish before. It sort of looked like somebody had melted some cheese, mozzarella within, and I was just like, ugh. It's like I'm used. I mean, if anybody's seen my fish parasites video there, the parasites featured in that animation are actually the ones that I usually come across, particularly the yellow grubs one, and then I've got the black spot. I see those ones a lot, and then tapeworms. Those are the parasites I see a lot of. But these worms that I saw in the Cisco's, they were like almost like a tapeworm in a sack inside the flesh. of the Cisco. Of course, you cut around them, but you know. But I would say that the flesh of the Cisco's was it smelled very cucumbery, which is nice. And then as well, um, it fried up well, tasted fantastic. It was just those crazy worms. So I don't know. I haven't been tempted to try it again because of those worms. And I've heard other people say the same thing. Fahad Khan, as far as my favorite ice fishing rod for walleye, I can tell you like the general specs that I like in a rod. I can tell you which rods I have. I like sort of like the heavier rods, but not like crazy heavy, like a medium heavy rod. To me, I just like the feel of when a fish bites on a medium heavy rod, like how it's got like a pretty firm tip, But I know a lot of people when they're fishing for perch and stuff like that, they like these super light rods. I just find them to be kind of gummy, but I'm also not like the wizard of fishing or anything. So I know some people like those little bobber tip things that fit at the end of your rod that sort of like react very quickly to any kind of a hit. Anyway, the rods I've had a Fenwick rod, which was really good. As well, if you want a rod that's sort of invincible, the ugly sticks, if you can get the old style where it's like the tip is a pretty thick piece of the glass or whatever, and the newer ones, they had like sort of this flimsy little tip, and I think I broke all mine. But the original Fenwick rod, or not Fenwick's, ugly sticks, were basically completely indestructible. And if you're using it on something like a jaw jacker or any one of those like hook setter rigs, that they had a lot of spring with them, you could really bend them hard, and they could take any kind of damage that or any kind of pressure you could put on them. Yeah, I had a Fenwick rod, which is a medium heavy. These days I'm fishing mostly with these Masuda rods, because the Masuda guys, they gave me a bunch that went, a lot of them go to giveaways, and then I've been using them myself, and I found them to be quite effective. This is one of the Masuda rods here. The only thing that this rod, it doesn't work with my tip down rod holder, because usually the rods are pretty thick out here, but in this case it sits funny. It's a funny balance on a tip down rod holder. That's not to say that's the only thing I use for fishing, but definitely the tip downs can be handy when things are real light. Hotbox Huts. Wishing I was fishing. How's the ice down there? Is it getting... I wonder how it's gonna pan out with I don't know if you guys are getting the same rain that we're about to get up here. Jeff, you're asking about the Cisco and whether or not you can smoke them. I mean, you can try smoking them, buddy. I don't know if they'll light up very well. Just kidding. I bet you can smoke them quite well. I know a lot of people smoke those whitefish and all that. Okay. Oops. All right, so I got a coffeed up minnow head about to send down on a very small buckshot rattle spoon. Darren, you're asking how's the slush out here? When I was walking out, when I first got on the lake, just coming out here, I thought to myself, like, wow, this is not what I was expecting. It was quite firm on top. And then, like, I wasn't sinking through at all. I wasn't seeing slush anywhere. It almost seemed like the launch was looking in better shape than the last week I was out. And then I got out closer to the huts out here, and I saw some really deep grooves where somebody put their tires right down to the ice through the snow and slush, and it looked real gross. So in places where there's holes, there's definitely some slushy spots. I wonder, I did take my drone out this morning, so maybe I'll see if I can see any spots on there. I'll leave it to you to determine what's slush and what's not from the air, but I'll probably be releasing a video tomorrow, as long as I don't get whatever sickness my coworkers and supported people have. Yeah, Corey, you're saying the Masuda rod is good, strong back but light tip, helps when they're biting light, and the heavy back helps the hook sets. Yeah, I haven't been disappointed by these Masuda rods aside from the tip down rod holder, which I sort of just have to like play around with it to get it to work, but I usually just don't use that rod holder. I just use a rod holder like this one over here for holding it, which is like a trigger related like a hook setting sort of jaw jacker style. Oh, got some people coming out here in a ATV. I just heard a guy yell, "There's slush everywhere," and the lady was like, "I know." Anyway. Uh-oh. All right, so I'm just watching these guys in the... You guys can't really see it, can you? Okay, I'm gonna see if I can get the camera right close to the... Okay, so take a look at this if you want to know what the conditions are like. See if I can zoom in for you there. So they got into the slush pretty bad there and had to back out. But it looks like they're gonna pick a different route. All right, let's see if he gets stuck again. Oh, can't see where he went. Okay, he's going slow. All right, getting back on, trying a new route. Yeah, they got jammed up pretty good right beside that hut over there. I imagine ATVs are probably pretty easy to get jammed up. All right, we're back. Just a little bit. Okay. So yeah, there's definitely people getting jammed in the slush out there. Just going through some more messages here. Joseph Walsh, how's it going, Coke? Good luck on a biggin. Yeah, we got small perch. Came in already, and that's been it so far. Looks like there might be some more activity down there. Yeah, Matt, tomorrow we're supposed to get rain and 6 degree temperatures. I think it's supposed to cool down. So Hotbox Huts, you say the ice is still holding up. Forecasted rain has really dropped off. Well, oh, there we go. All right, this feels half decent. What's it gonna be, folks? Oh no! Ah! Well, so a thing happened, and I'll tell you exactly what happened. I tried to adjust the camera so you could see down the hole, and the fish got the upper hand. I imagine if I could predict what that was that I lost, and I lost them pretty close to the hole, I'm going to say it was probably, most likely, a hammer handle pike, or, you know, I think it was a little bigger than a perch. I'd probably say hammer handle pike, or, you know, 14, 15-inch walleye. Well, we're going to keep fishing for a little bit. But I guess I'm never going to know. But it wasn't a trophy of the year fish, but I lost it. Maybe his brother's going to come in. I'm going to have to get rolling soon. It seems like my coffee minnows is panning out okay this morning. -12-degree weather. That's is that just like for a day or two, or is it the kind of thing where or is it just like a day or two of bad weather or warm weather, or has it been like this for a while now? Jeff, yeah. Fahad, you're heading this weekend to Nipissing. What is the size on walleye and the limit? It's 40 to 45 centimeters and 2 fish. Correct me if I'm wrong. I've yet to catch a keeper this year. But again, I'm sort of fishing in very short spurts. Canadian Vapor. How much ice? Can go with 15 inches of black, and then probably 7-8 inches of bunk slush garbage. Yeah, Eugene, there's a good chance that was probably my one walleye of the day that I lost. Too bad for me. All right, I'm gonna put in 10 more minutes, and let's hope something comes in that period. And then I better go get some roses. Joseph Walsh, where did you say you were living there, that you're getting 14 degrees tomorrow. Good old early spring. Mississauga. Oh yeah. Yeah, my wife's from Mississauga. So I'm slowly but surely becoming more and more familiar with Mississauga there. I've done a little bit of fishing at the river there. Upriver, downriver. There was this spot actually where me and my buddies used to go underneath the QEW on the Credit River. And we'd catch mudcats down there. Big ones. And then later on I started to figure out how to catch carp. And we started catching carp down there. Then we'd always have these rowers who were, rowing those boats that go backwards. And these guys got a lot of attitude for a bunch of guys who go blasting down the river ass backwards and expect everybody to get their lines out and everything in anticipation of them coming when they're not even looking where they're going. I tell you, I almost got hit while I was in a canoe by one of those rear-facing rowers once. So I'm a little sour. I'm a little sour on them. And those things are pointy too. Patio lantern, what's better than roses on your piano? Yeah, you got that right. Hope everybody's doing something real nice with their loved ones today. Joseph Walsh there, as far as river fishing is concerned, I wasn't much of a river fisherman for a while, and then in Toronto there I started fishing a bit in like the Humber River and the Credit River, and I started to get really into it. I'm not really big on when people are shoulder to shoulder fishing, and that's kind of the charm of, say, like fishing in the summertime. I know not a lot of people like carp fishing or whatnot, but if you're fishing in the summer for carp, you usually have a lot of the river to yourself without too many other people. It's when the salmon guys and the steelhead guys, but mostly the salmon guys, when they hit the river, that's when things get real busy. Okay, at 10:45, I'm gonna wrap it up. So I got 6 more minutes to redeem myself from that lost fish. Yeah, well, my wife is one of those people who works a 9 to 5 kind of job, so we might come out here later on in the week there and just do some ice fishing, but it'll be with my kid, so it'll be pretty straight up family fishing. I like this green buckshot spoon. I feel like I've caught a good few things on it. Seems to work out for me. I really like these buckshot rattle spoons. They are definitely one of my favorites. Come on, fish. A lot of chatter out there. So I was debating whether or not to come out tomorrow in the complete rain. I think the rain's supposed to be going pretty much all day. Yeah, Bill D, I can tell you straight up that Cisco, when you clean them, they don't smell fishy. They got, like I said, a very cucumber kind of smell to them. And if it wasn't for those weird worms, I'd be all over eating every single one I caught. Patio lantern. Any balloons up there? Haven't seen any yet, but I believe we got the NORAD base here. So I guess we'll see. Whatever those, it was a real weird moment when I was hearing about all these quote unquote UFOs being blasted out of the sky. I was just like, oh man. Like if these are real UFOs, maybe we should, try to be a little more diplomatic about it. Because if you start off with guns blazing, then you don't know how that's going to pan out. But since they're probably just some sort of spy balloons, it's an interesting time to be alive, let me tell you. So, so Bill D, your perch were loaded with worms? A lot of times I'll just like, when I catch perch it's the right size, I'll keep them. But there are ways, if you look at the gills and whatnot, you can see the yellow worms. And it's funny with the black spot because you can see that on the fish. And I can tell you straight up, if you try to eat that fish, it's like it's edible, but those little black cysts that those worms form, they actually are hard when you chew into them, like when it's cooked. Whereas the yellow worms, they just sort of disappear once you cook them. But I can tell you straight up that almost all those parasites are all related in some way. They're all part of the family of Trematoda, as they say, which is the flatworms. Yeah, not gonna forget those flowers there, Joseph. All right, so I got one more minute. I'm gonna fish really, really hard for a solid minute. Then I'm out of here. Gotta hit the hay. Doing some real fancy techniques here. It's like when you're ending after not catching some, or when you missed a fish or lost a fish at the hole. It's always a little disappointing. Yeah, thanks a lot there, Jeff. We'll catch you guys another day. I don't know if I'll be live streaming on Thursday this week because my wife took some time off um, for us to do, some family day weekend stuff. So I might do a quick live report on how the ice is coming or how it's been affected by the rain. We'll see. We'll see what I can do. But there's definitely going to be a drone video tomorrow morning that you guys can watch of Callander Bay here. And otherwise, I'm wrapping it up. So thanks a million, everybody, for showing up. And we will catch you on the next stream. If you haven't hit like already, please hit it now. Have a great day, everybody.